Money Honeys. It's Fred.
I'm Chantel.
And I'm Dev. And that's a leaf blower behind me because people got to work. And so we're not going to stop it. You know, it is what it is. Welcome to LA. Anyways, today's episode is a special one because it's the first in a series called Don't Piss Me Off. And it's where we discuss something about the American economic structure and system that may or may not piss you off. You'll just have to find out at the end of the episode. So fun. But first, Chantel, can you start us off with calm? With a calm.
A calm. I would love to. Sure. How about an innocent little warm-up question? Fred, Miss FK Ransom, what is something that you spent dollars on this week that you think was totally worth it?
Well, I did get my first paycheck this week, so that was exciting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we love
exciting.
A paycheck.
We love stability in this household.
We sure do.
Okay, so I know I complain about it all the time, but it had been about 6 weeks since I got my nails done. And so I treated myself to getting my nails done on Friday. And I did a pedicure and a Gel X manicure, and I got designs this time. I did the zhuzh. I usually don't do the zhuzh. But, you know,
let us see.
I deserve. You can't really see, but it's like kind of watercolor.
I love. Happy for you, Fred.
So it was still too expensive in my opinion. But it feels worth it because I do feel good. I feel like, you know, I have a new pep in my step. But my nails were $155 and my pedicure, I did the all-in pedicure, so I got the works. That was $95, and this was all before tax. So, I mean, not before tax, before tip. Excuse me.
Tip.
So, you know, I still was sweating a bit at checkout.
Yeah.
It's a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow. Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, but it'll last. It'll last like a month. You'll stretch it out. You'll stretch it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to last 6 weeks. So
it will.
Girl math, we're like, well, the time that you'll say that you would have been like exfoliating your feet and your hands on your own, it's that's like an hour right there. And then it's like, well, what's your hourly, you know, like what are you making at your job? And so yeah, it was
also
free.
Think about it. How often do you use your fingers? Like those fingies are working all the time for you.
They really are.
Come on. You know?
They really are. Dev, what about you?
I don't think I have one. I mean, I spent my money on Beyonce tickets this week, but was that a good purchase? I mean, yes, it will be. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Chantel, what'd you spend your money on?
The thing that I spent my money on this week that was most worth it was antibiotics. $11 worth of antibiotics. I'm a brand new bitch. I was sick for basically like 2 weeks because I had a cold that turned into a sinus infection and an ear infection, like a fucking toddler. So I was out here with an ear infection that I haven't gotten since I was a child. But as a 33-year-old woman, my writer's room thought that it would be funny to give me an ear infection and a sinus infection. So your girl needed antibiotics. Best $11 I've ever spent, I'll tell you that. Thank you, Kaiser.
Wow. Let's give it up for antibiotics.
Which antibiotic? Call her out. Was it Augmentin? Did you get a Z-Pack? What was it?
Yeah, thanks, amoxicillin. We love you. 5-day course. So good.
Love her.
Thank you. 10
Love
doses. One every 12 hours.
Wow.
We love her. I was like, thank God.
We love that for you. We're happy that you're better.
So
you too, Deb, because you were under the weather too.
She was.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. But that's okay. I'm better now. Back at it. Causing havoc.
Okay, let's get into it. So today we're talking about something that sounds like science fiction. Okay, hear me out. Trillionaires.
That's right, babe. And this may piss me off. See, 5 people are expected to join the Tea Club in the next decade.
Damn. And according to Oxfam's inequality report, Elon Musk, the world's richest person with $430 billion to his name, is set to surpass the $1 trillion mark in under 5 years. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, and Bernard Arnault I don't know how to say his last name, are estimated to follow shortly behind. Like, trillion is insane.
Yeah, I can't even fathom it, to be honest. Did you know that last year was kind to the world's billionaires? The group grew by 200 plus people to 2.77 thousand, and their collective wealth increased by 2.1 trillion, which is 3 times faster than the year prior.
I'm so upset.
It makes sense because 2024 felt like we were all in hard mode. Except for these guys, apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about quantity.
Just how much is a trillion?
Stick with us.
All
right, okay, Chantel.
Cute.
Bring us back.
Chantel.
You got a little twang. I like when Devin's Atlanta twang comes out. Generally, if you're really sleepy or if you've been having a little bit of wine, then it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are back, and we're going to start off with a fun interactive segment where we try to wrap our heads. Where we try to wrap our heads. Grab your chickens, ladies, because we're going to try to wrap our heads around the number a trill.
Okay.
Cute.
Time comparisons. Okay. 1 million seconds equals 11.5 days.
Okay.
1 billion seconds equals 31.7 years. Okay.
Not computing.
A trillion seconds equals 31,709 years. Fun fact, a trillion seconds ago, humans were in the early Stone Age. It's crazy how much of a jump it is in between a billion and a trillion.
And even a million and a billion is massive.
Yeah.
To go from days to 3 decades, for a million to a billion, and then over to a trillion, like that, my brain actually can't compute. I stall out. I crash out.
I know the only way I'm able to compute it is so elementary. It makes me sound so dumb. But like a billion is a million millions. Doesn't that make me sound like a stoner?
Is it? Is that actually what it is?
I think a trillion is a billion billions. Right? We just run a financial podcast. It's fine.
Girl, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
God.
That's crazy.
I hate it. Okay.
I hate that. Okay. Well, are you ready to have your minds blown even more? Okay. So that was the time comparison, but to put it in money visualization, to just make it even more concrete, if you spend $1 per second, it would take 11.5 days to spend a million. 31.7 years to spend a billion, and 31,709 years to spend a trillion.
It's the same numbers, but like the idea of spending $1 a second, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To just put it in a different context, that's how, if we're talking about spending $1 per second, that's how long it would take to spend $1 trillion, 31,709 years. Stone Age. If you spent $1 a second from the early Stone Age till now, you would have finally spent your $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Wow.
My antibiotics were $11. That 11 seconds in that in that Stone Age years. What the hell?
Sticking with the money analogy, if you stacked $1 bills, just like the little paper $1 bills, a million bills would be 358 feet, which is about the height of the Statue of Liberty. A billion would be 67.9 miles. And then a trillion would be 67,866 miles. And that could wrap around planet Earth 2.7 times. So we started off with 378 feet. We landed, or 358 feet. We landed with 67,000 miles and some change. That's too much.
Ooh.
That's too much. A trillion is too much.
It's ungodly.
You guys.
Okay.
Don't piss me off.
Tell us. Don't piss me
Why do you need that?
You don't.
Why do you need that?
You don't.
What are you doing with all that?
It's unethical.
You can't spend even $1 billion in a lifetime.
No, it's unethical.
Fred, what's the last stat?
Anyway,
I lost you for a second there, girl. Where'd you go?
Yeah, you did. You lost me for a second. You lost me. I was crashing out. Okay.
Yeah, we're stalling. Our brains are stalling out. Like,
Yeah.
I need a defrag after this.
So if you wanted to make $1 trillion by watching Netflix at minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour, working 40 hours a week, never taking a vacation, you would need to start watching during the Cretaceous period, which is when T-Rex was still walking around.
That is...
And you'd still be watching today. Like, that's about 66 million years of binge watching.
Not T-Rex.
I don't
No, that's crazy.
think Netflix has that much content, but
no.
insane.
But you'd have to just rewatch. Yeah.
We would be on like the Princess Switch 87 million.
Mm-hmm.
They would just have to keep switching Vanessa Hudgens all around.
Oh my gosh.
I'm watching all of your faces kind of like zone out as we're trying to compute how much $1 trillion is. And I think we can safely say that it's a lot.
It's really insane. I'm so mad.
It's a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I have so many more questions. Namely, are any of these future trillionaires actually a rags to riches story? Or did they just come from generational wealth? So stick around for the next segment, which I affectionately call Trust Fund or Trust Issues.
And we're back. Ladies, how are we feeling? Are we steamed or not?
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted by this. I'm exhausted by trying to compute how much money people have. It's insane.
The crazy part is, like, it feels like the industrial period where all these like millionaires were coming to the forefront for the first time. But at least during the industrial period, they were building like fucking museums or like the Met. They were putting their money into like at least beautifying cities. And what is Elon Musk doing? He's buying Twitter. Something that no one wanted him to do.
He even tried to pull out of it. Like he usually, I mean, because that's the thing, that man is all talk. And so, you know, where he's been like, here's how we can solve world hunger. Here's how we can do that. I'm like, okay, you have enough money, do it. He doesn't give a shit. We're all so much closer to having nothing than we are to being millionaires.
Yeah.
Like we are all like one life devastating event away from like having nothing, from losing everything. So that's what's like, I remember when I first heard that, I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like I'm way closer to that than I am to being a millionaire. So just to recap, these 5 individuals are on deck to become trillionaires within the next couple of years. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, and Bernard Arnault. So, gals, before we get into their backgrounds, who from that list do you think actually comes from modest beginnings?
Well, I have to look up Larry Ellison and Bernard Arnault.
Arnault. It's not going to be him.
I mean, yeah.
No, not him.
I think it also like depends on what we're considering modest beginnings, because it's like to some, I mean, I don't know Zuckerberg's like full thing, but it's like he created Facebook, but like he was at Harvard, and it's like, okay, does his family come from money? Like, how did he get into Harvard? You know, like, was it academics? Was it, you know, like,
did he have a scholarship?
Legacy?
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't know much about him, but so like in regards to like this bunch, he might be considered a modest beginning, but still at such a distinct advantage from the average person walking around, the average American. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say Zuckerberg out of this whole list, and maybe Larry Ellison. Entrepreneur and CEO, you know, I mean, a businessman. Again, he could definitely come from money as well, but who knows? Let's go with Mark. I think Mark is the only person on this list.
I'm jaded. I don't think anyone came from modest beginnings.
Yeah. And I actually know nothing about Jeff Bezos in his background. So who knows? But I feel like there's a lot of, I kind of with you, Dev. I feel like maybe, like it just even still, I don't think that any of these people probably came from working class. Happy to be wrong, but I don't think so.
All I know about Jeff Bezos is he's bald and has always been bald. He's one of those guys who's just like hit 16 and started losing his hair. God bless. That's all I know. But good guesses all around. Let's get into their history. This little segment of today's show is like a little book report section. We're going to brief each other on the backgrounds of each of these men. First up, Apartheid Clyde, or that's my nickname for him, Elon Musk. Okay. So I actually had learned from another podcast called Hard Fork, which is by the New York Times, a little bit more about his history. And I kind of want to share that first. But in case you don't know, Elon Musk's current empire is he is the CEO of Tesla, which is electric vehicles, an energy storage company. He is the founder and CEO of SpaceX. He is the owner of X and Twitter, something we've talked about on the show. No one wanted him to do that, but yet he did that. He is the co-founder of XAI, which is terrifying. And he is the founder of the Boring Company, which is tunnel construction. I actually kind of like that name. I think it's a funny name, the Boring Company, and they bore into the earth to make tunnels, but I still hate him. And he's also the co-founder of Neuralink, which is brain-computer interfaces. Half of the shit that he owns, no one asked for. I don't want a Neuralink. Get out of here. I don't want you coming anywhere close to artificial intelligence, Mr. Musk. Yeah. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. So when you're talking about Elon Musk, especially in 2025, it's really important to understand that he comes from Nazi roots, like real Nazi roots. So back in the 90s, after World War II, the only safe place in the world for Nazis was in Namibia. I've actually been to, it was called Swakop, which is a little city in Namibia where you could live as a proud Nazi. And Elon Musk's maternal side, his maternal grandfather and grandmother, moved from Canada to Swakop to be Nazis, to proudly live in the ideology that they believe in. His father, Errol Musk, was a co-owner of a Zambian emerald mine, and he grew up in Pretoria, South Africa, in a very wealthy household. He attended a private Waterkloof preparatory school, and he left South Africa at 17 with about $2,000 in his pocket. So when he left South Africa, he did kind of cosplay as like a normal person, but his family wealth enabled him to get early access into tech and into education, which means that he was able to kind of surround himself with people who were the movers and the shakers of the early tech world. My mind, clearly not a rags to riches story. I mean, his dad owned an emerald mine. Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. So super evil. Love it. I hate it. I'm done. But I am going to talk about Daddy Bezos, Mr. Jeff Bezos over here. So he's a founder, and also one thing about Elon Musk that I think people don't realize is like, I don't think he was a founder of Tesla, right? He's a CEO, but I don't think he's a founder of Tesla. Yeah.
I don't think he is. No, I think you're right.
Anyways. Yeah. So with Jeff Bezos, he's a founder and executive chairman of Amazon. He's the owner of Blue Origin, which is also aerospace. He's the owner of the Washington Post, which was purchased for $250 million in 2013. Bezos Expeditions, venture capital investments. So his background, his biological father is Ted Jorgensen, who is a bike shop owner. And he was adopted by Miguel Bezos, a Cuban immigrant. But yeah, so bike shop owner. Okay. His maternal grandparents owned a 25,000 acre Texas ranch. Less humble, I would say.
Yeah, we're moving in a new direction here.
25,000 acre ranch. He received $300,000 from his parents for his Amazon startup. And he attended River Oaks Elementary, known for its gifted programs. I will repeat, 25,000 acre Texas ranch and receiving $300,000 from your parents. What do we think? Humble beginnings or nah?
No, you kind of had me. You had me fooled at the beginning. You had me fooled. So no, he had all of the resources that he needed to get ahead and start Amazon. I mean, he was good.
I think we're all stunned by the 25,000 acre Texas ranch because we're all house shopping a little bit on the side right now. So in LA, you pay $1 million for 2,000 square feet, a 2,000 square foot lot. The idea of 25,000 acres, girl, come on.
I mean, that is, yeah.
And just like, this is not to say that he's like, he probably was like smart with his money. He was probably smart with the $300,000 that he got from his parents, where it's like, yeah, a lot of other people could have squandered it away, whatever. It's not to say like he's not an intelligent person, but he received 300 from his parents.
Yeah, that part.
Okay, so the man I'm talking about is Mr. Zuck, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, so he is the co-founder and CEO of Meta, formerly Facebook. He oversees Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads. He's a major investor in virtual augmented reality technology and the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which is his philanthropic arm. So his father is Edward Zuckerberg, who was a dentist with a private practice. His mother,
you lost me.
Yeah, I mean, private practice. Yeah, we're already.
Dentists are known for making a very good living. Love it for them.
His mother, Karen, is a psychiatrist before becoming a parent. He grew up in Dobbs Ferry, New York, which is a very affluent suburb. And he attended Phillips Exeter Academy, which is, drum roll please, $55,000 a year tuition.
Whoa. $55,000 a year?
Yeah, and he had a private computer science tutor in high school.
What? Do you need one of those? Should we be crediting Facebook to the tutor?
Right, like you just had, okay, Zuck.
Yeah, I heard, I saw like a tweet or something that was like, why are any of us shocked that a man who built a platform in order to rate the women in his college is actually maybe not the best man? Because I was like, how can like Mark Zuckerberg be like bending the knee to like kiss the ring of Trump? And it's like, girl, he literally like is successful from building a platform that he used to rate women on the Harvard campus.
The crazy thing about him, he feels like the most relatable. And maybe it's because he's in our age range a little bit. Like, I feel like I knew someone like Mark Zuckerberg in college who had a dentist for a father, who grew up who went to Exeter. I definitely know people at Michigan who went to Exeter and had a private computer science tutor. I feel like I knew someone like him. Not him, but someone like him.
Yeah, definitely thought he had more humble beginnings. But I guess like comparatively, do we feel like so far has the most humble beginning?
Yes. So far, I would say he has the most humble beginnings, which is still coming from incredibly wealthy beginnings.
Yes.
Yeah. People are allowed to be successful. People are allowed to be wealthy, but we're not like bashing people for like having a successful practice. It's like all that stuff. But it's just sort of interesting how it just, wealth begets wealth. And these are people who are not necessarily using their wealth for good.
Well, I think a lot of the marketing around these billionaires are like, wow, they are so hardworking. Look at them. Yeah. They're like, they're making all of these jobs for people in America. Meanwhile, the person who is like on food stamps, who works at 2 jobs, is a grifter. When that's not necessarily, that's just the marketing and propaganda around these folks. So I feel like telling these stories and really diving into the background of these billionaires, would-be trillionaires, are kind of hammering home the idea that this is not rags to riches. This isn't like somebody who grew up in inner city Atlanta who's now a billionaire. That's not what we're talking about. This is not some kind of Cinderella story. Yeah. Speaking of Cinderella, let's talk about Bernard Arnault. Arnault? He's got a lot of vowels in his name, which makes me think that this man is rich. So he is the CEO and chairman of LVMH, which is Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. He controls 75 plus luxury brands, including Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Tiffany's, Fendi, Gari, Bulgari, Tag Heuer, and Sephora? Not Sephora!
Yeah, that threw me for a loop.
Damn.
That threw me for a loop. What?
Like,
Get your
shit,
paws
like,
off my makeup company.
that is quite a roster.
So this man was born into a wealthy business family. His father owned the civil engineering company Ferret Savinal. He used family money to buy Christian Dior in 1985, inherited and transformed family businesses, and he is probably the most traditional old money background, which I kind of assumed just by the name. The name felt rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm surprised there aren't Roman numerals behind it.
Yeah, that would really take it over the edge. Shocking.
All right, Fred or Chantel, finish us off. Who do you have?
So I have the last person, Larry Ellison. The main thing that I personally know about Larry Ellison is that he owns an island. He owns an island in Hawaii, but let's find out more. So he is the co-founder and CTO of Oracle Corporation. He's a major stakeholder in Tesla. He's a board member. He's the owner of Lanai Island in Hawaii, purchased for $300 million. And he has investment in NetSuite and Salesforce and Oracle Racing, which is America's cup sailing team.
I didn't know you could own, like, buy an island. You could buy a state.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we all know Facebook, we all know Tesla, but it's like, what is Oracle Corporation? Okay. So his background, he was adopted by middle-class relatives. He grew up in Chicago's South Shore. He dropped out of University of Illinois. He worked odd jobs before his tech career, and he arguably might be the most self-made of the group. It's interesting that there are two men out of these soon-to-be trillionaires who are both adopted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely over-indexing.
Oracle Corporation. I need to like what? Oh, computer software. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like something with servers. I don't know.
Well, good for him. Good for Larry.
I'm upset that a man named Larry owns a part of Hawaii. That should be illegal, you know?
He owns an island. He's owned it for a while.
I don't think that should be okay. You buy a state, like a portion of the state? That's wild to me.
Yeah, I would love to know how he's operating this island and if he's respectful at all to the indigenous people and like all those things. Who knows? Probably not.
I'm pretty sure that it's like a cat sanctuary island, that there's like hundreds of cats that live on Lanai.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like they have a cat sanctuary there. And according to Google, they have over 830 cats that just romp around and play.
Okay.
They have an open air sanctuary. Yeah. And they're all spayed and neutered cats.
I mean, that's different, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. So there's that. There's a giant cat sanctuary on Lanai. And Lanai, it's like it's a pretty small. It's one of the smaller islands. But yeah, owned by Larry Ellison. If you want to see over 800 cats, that's where they're at.
Can you visit? Can anyone visit, or is it like his private residence?
No, you can visit. I don't know if he has a residence on the island. I would assume that he would want to go there. But yeah, like for the general population, because I remember I went as a small child, and that we took it was like a tour. You take a little boat out to Lanai.
But when we come back, we're going to talk about how America and our government has subsidized, really, these trillionaires and their lifestyle. Stick with us. Folks, welcome back. Let's talk about how these guys are about to hit the Trilly status. And spoiler alert, it's not because they worked really hard.
So are you telling me they don't just have a really good morning routine and don't buy avocado toast and make the latte at home?
Right, because that's clearly the solve to all of our financial issues. But let me tell you something. No amount of green juice can get you to $1 trillion.
It's so true. So get this, between 2014 and 2018, Jeff Bezos paid less than 1% in taxes. 1% in 5 years. That's crazy.
That is, I'm upset. I'm upset because I paid more in taxes on my first internship.
Mm-hmm. At BuzzFeed?
On my first anything. When I was working BuzzFeed was the only internship that was paid, made $10 an hour. But yeah.
Crazy.
Damn.
Same bitch. And here's the tea. The average American pays about 13.3% in taxes. But when you're mega rich, the rules are different.
Different how, you guys. Don't piss me off.
I know. If you're Elon Musk, instead of getting a regular paycheck like us peasants, most of your wealth is in stock. In his case, Tesla stock. And here's the not so genius part. You don't have to pay taxes on those stocks until you sell them.
But don't they need money for like their daily yacht maintenance and like ruining the world?
Yeah, they do. They really do. But that's where it gets wild. They can literally borrow money against their stocks, using their stocks as collateral. So they get cash without selling their stocks and without paying taxes. Yeah, so let me walk you through it. If like Elon Musk wants to buy a $20 million mansion, he will say, I've got $20 million worth of Tesla stock. I'm going to take a loan against that. So the debtors or the loan company just hand him the $20 million. That's the liquid cash he has. And then he pays that back in time, like all of us pay loans, using whatever liquidity he has. He pays it off like a loan. But because he's a billionaire, a trillionaire even soon, he's able to just get liquidity from anybody because he's got this insane stock portfolio.
Right. So they're basically using their wealth to avoid paying taxes on their wealth. Got it. Cool.
Exactly. And here's another spicy detail. Notice how Musk moved from California to Texas? That saved him from paying 13.3% in state taxes.
Must be nice to just move states to save billions.
Yeah. And we haven't even gotten to the government assistance. Tesla got about $465 million as a government loan. Amazon got $2.3 billion in subsidies. And SpaceX, they're getting billions in NASA contracts.
Yeah, they're like a private company. I think they'll also like take trash from the International Space Station and like they're taking like astronaut shit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
like they're for NASA.
Okay, so they pay less in taxes than us, get billions in government help, and then move states to avoid paying more taxes.
That's American capitalism at its finest.
I'm just upset. Like, I'm upset. I'm like, why do we need to have all these loopholes? Like, if taxes must exist, why is it not just, here's the standard rate, we tell you what you pay it, like how it literally is in other countries.
Or even in America for the working class. Like, we literally have no loopholes. Not a loophole in sight.
In our loopholes, it's so like you have to like know about it and stuff. And it's like, okay, can I write off this home office? Or like once you buy a property, then there's like some right, but it's just like you need wealth to be wealthy.
Yeah.
Like it is very much just like rich get richer. It's so hard to break through. So hard.
I know. And the wild part is this isn't even some secret Illuminati kind of stuff. These are just straight up features of our tax system. When you're rich enough, you can borrow against your stocks tax-free, move to states with no income taxes, get government contracts and subsidies, and pay lower tax rates on investments than we do for our regular income. It's crazy.
Okay, so circling back to the age-old phrase, eat the rich.
What I'm saying is maybe our politicians should probably talk about why it's okay that someone who's delivering Amazon packages is paid more in taxes than the guy who owns Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
This is sick.
Yeah. Also, I did a quick Google search of Larry Ellison's politics. He supports Republicans. And he's like given major, like record-breaking donations to Republicans. And then his son last year made a big donation to Biden.
Oh,
so we got some dueling ideologies here. Love to see it. Yeah, kind of interesting.
But that does not mean those cats are Republican. Those cats have their own political beliefs and agendas, okay?
Cats are anarchists.
Well, y'all, how are we feeling? Are we steamed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brain is fried, to be honest.
Yeah. I need to lie down. I do. I got to take a nap. Got to shake this, got to sleep this off.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about sleep. It's free. So while we're going to all take naps, we love you guys. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us. We'll see you this time next week. Bye.